UFC 321 this Saturday from Abu Dhabi, UAE. And now we've got our 5 best bets. Earlier in the week, we did our predictions for all 14 fights on this card. Today, again, 5 best bets, over-unders, money lines, parlays. Again, just my favorite 5 best methods of victories. Just my favorite 5 bets in total for this card. And we do this every single week here on the channel. Again, Sundays always our predictions like we'll have next week as well for our UFC Fight Night. Garcia versus Onama. Full card predictions. Yep, that's a real thing happening. And again, every Thursday at noon, we post our best bets. So again, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below here on Greedo Plays MMA for more weekly UFC and PFL returns in December, but more weekly MMA content. Also on the main channel, Greedo Plays, we have daily NBA best bets, weekly college football predictions and best bets, weekly NFL predictions and best bets, and daily MLB best bets for throughout the entirety, I guess, of the rest of the World Series with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. So go check that out. Link in the description down below. Go subscribe over there. Let's do it. First of 5 best bets here for UFC 321, kicking things off with the 2-leg parlay, our only parlay of the video, Jacqueline Amorim and Ikram Aliskerov. I really like this 2-leg parlay, okay? I was thinking about going Azat Mascom as the second leg or Hamdi Delahouab, because originally when I was making this, or really just in its entirety, I was trying to build around Ikram Aliskerov, because personally, I love the odds for Aliskerov. Minus 270-ish, minus 250-ish, wherever you get it at, against the Iron Turtle here in Jinyoung Park. I love that Aliskerov line, and I want to parlay it with something else. I could have gone Walter Walker, which I don't mind, but I mean, I think there's a little bit of randomness happening with Louis Sutherland. I'd personally just rather go with Amorim here. I think Jacqueline Amorim is actually a very underrated UFC fighter. Amorim is 4-1 in the promotion, only loss was in her first ever fight, and she's taken on Mizuki Inoue, or they're just calling her Mizuki now, who hasn't fought in 2.5 years. So why wouldn't I go with Amorim here? I think it's great value on her. I look at Amorim, again, this is a fighter who's 4-1, 4 consecutive victories, Montserrat Ruiz, Corey McCann, Vanessa Demopoulos, and Polyana Viana, and why I've been so big on Amorim, at least going into the week, and now is just her finishing ability. You barely see this finishing potential out of fighters at 115 pounds, at least in the women's division. I don't know if that really matters, it doesn't really matter, depending on what weight class the women's weight in the women's divisions, because none of them really specialize in finishes, and that's why it, again, makes it so impressive about Amorim. She is able to get subs. I mean, hell, she had a fight where she submitted Corey McCann twice in the span of 98 seconds. This is as automatic as it gets. She's a minus 450 favorite. Mizuki Inoue just doesn't fight. Her last fight was in September of 2023 in a unanimous decision victory over Hannah Goldie. She's a 1-2 UFC fighter. Sure, her only loss, 2-1 UFC fighter, and only loss is Amanda Lemos. But when you fight 3 times in 6 years, I can't put much into you winning a fight. And like I mentioned in our predictions video earlier in the week, Amorim, you might look at her and say, oh, she's a 5-1 fighter after this in the UFC. She could be fighting for a belt very quickly. I talked about the future of the strawweight division and how I think this belt's going to get hot potatoed around for a while. It's not that crazy to think Amorim could find herself in a title fight next year. And that's a discussion for a later day. We'll say this now. I'm not doing a best bet with Dern and Lemos. Again, if you want my full prediction on that, go check it out. Full predictions linked in the description down below. I do think Dern's going to win, but I like Jacqueline Amorim in this spot over Mizuki Inoue. So now, the second leg of this parlay is what the parlay was built around. That's Ikram Aliskerov. Now, I get it. Jinyoung Park, veteran fighter. He's been around, had a bunch of fights in the UFC. I understand that. Coming off back-to-back victories over Brad Tavares and Ismail Nurdayev. That's great. I don't have any confidence that he beats Ikram Aliskerov. Aliskerov's only loss, we talk about, Mizuki's only loss is Amanda Lemos. Yeah. Ikram Aliskerov's loss is to Robert Whittaker. He's got 1 loss in the UFC, and it's Robert Whittaker. Yeah, he's got a bunch of fights canceled. I get it. First fight was back in May of 2023, in which he knocked out Phil Hawes. Then finished Warley Alves with a flying knee, lost to Whittaker in the first round, but then came back and knocked out Andrea Muniz in the first round, too. I mean, this is a finisher. This is a guy who should have this fight won everywhere, in my opinion, against Jinyoung Park. Jinyoung Park, primary wrestler, kind of. He results with wrestling quite a bit. He can strike. Kind of a decision merchant as of late. Back-to-back close fights against Nurdayev and Brad Tavares. He has a good, rear naked choke that he'll get a takedown immediately. He'll look to take the back and go for the rear naked choke. I don't see Aliskerov making that mistake. Ikram's got a pretty good takedown defense, so in the takedown or wrestling defensive wrestling style, like he's a combat sambo guy from Makhachkala, Russia. I don't see him getting taken down by Jin Young Park. And on the feet too, I mean, I've seen Aliskerov go through guys on the feet. His only 2 losses ever are Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. Yes, the Chimaev fight was in Brave outside the UFC in 2019, but those are his only 2 losses, and they were both first-round knockouts. I don't think Jin Young Park's going to add on to that list. Where does Jin Young Park beat Ikram Aliskerov? On the ground? Well, he's not going to be able to take him down on the feet. Yeah, I like Aliskerov up there, so I'm going to go with the Russian here, and Ikram Aliskerov to beat Jin Young Park. I believe he gets it done pretty early. Again, my original prediction was first-round knockout for Aliskerov, but for this parlay, we don't care how he gets it done. Again, I think both him and Amorim win in the first round. I think Jacqueline submits Mizuki in the first. But again, it does not matter. We have a 2-leg parlay with Jacqueline Amorim and Ikram Aliskerov. On to our second best bet of the video. We move to Ludovit Klein moneyline. Minus 140 here for the Slovenian fighter in, I wouldn't say the biggest fight of his career. Hell, the biggest fight of his career just happened against Mateusz Gamrot, but another huge fight for Klein as he gets a very winnable fight against Mateusz Rebecki from Poland, another fighter from Poland, but it's okay. He should beat Rebecki. Rebecki's a punching bag. He is. Rebecki takes too much damage, and he just got out of a war. He fought Chris Duncan in August, and he lost, took over 100 significant strikes to the head, and he's fighting again. I respect it. We need more fighters like Mateusz Rebecki. Like, again, that's why Merab's going to continue to do very well and just grow in popularity, because the dude just fought 2 weeks ago, and he's going to close the year in December as the pay-per-view headliner as well against Piotr Jan. Like, that's why, that's great. We need more fighters like Dvalishvili, like Rebecki, who are willing to fight so quickly. But at the same time, though, that works when you win. And that works when you don't take that much damage. Again, compare the Rebecki turnaround to the Merab turnaround. Merab, sure, he went 5 rounds, but Merab didn't take that much damage from Sandhagen, and he won. Mateusz Rebecki, same kind of time, turnaround timetable in terms of what Merab's going to do in December and what Rebecki's doing right now. Rebecki lost to Chris Duncan, lost a unanimous decision, and ate a lot of damage in 15 minutes. I mean, I just don't know why they're doing this. I mean, if you look at the stats, I don't know why Rebecki's doing this. If you look at the stats and you watch the fight, yeah, Rebecki does outland Duncan. Duncan just hits way harder. That's a problem. Because now you're fighting Ludovit Klein. Is Ludovit Klein a one-shot knockout guy? He's not. You can look at his record and say, oh, nine knockout victories. He's got 2 knockout wins in the UFC, first of which came against Shane Young back in his UFC debut in UFC 253. That was the infamous fight, or I guess stare-down / weigh-in, where Shane Young did his haka before the fight in front of Dana White, and Dana was like, oh, the hell is this? And obviously, Shane Young went on to get knocked out in the first round, and then he got cut. But that's Klein's really only, head damage knockout so far in the UFC. His other was against AJ Cunningham, but that's a TKO victory. That was due to a body kick. Again, one of the more lopsided fights I've ever seen the UFC make. I get it. Cunningham took it on short notice, but Klein just beats up on lower level opponents, and again, he can rise to the occasion when once he fights higher level guys too. Again, Klein's very good. Good striking game, maybe not the best power, but good striking game, and he's got the wrestling too. I mean, I saw him, out-grapple Ignacio Bahamondes when he needed to. Again, Thiago Moises, he knocked down a couple times, went to wrestling when he needed it as well. Roosevelt Roberts, like, the grappling and the wrestling is going to be there for the Slovenian and Klein throughout this fight. Slovakian, oh my goodness, I apologize. I don't know if there's, beef with Slovenia and Slovakia. I hope not, but I've been saying Slovenia. That's where Luca's from. Slovakia, my fault in that. Klein's good, man, and I'm looking at Rebecki, again, good enough to lose fights. Like, that might sound harsh, but it's kind of the truth. Look at Rebecki's run in the UFC. He's highly touted coming into the UFC. Really didn't even need to fight in the Contender Series, in my opinion. Like, I thought he was going to win in the Contender, and then, it's just a guy, it seemed like an automatic. They just wanted to get him on the Contender first so he can get a contract. Like, remember when Chidi and Jokowani fought in the Contender Series, or they made Bo Nickel fight twice? Regardless, right? Rebecki comes in, they give him Nick Fiore. He's like a minus 700 favorite. He beats Radzabov, which again was a closer fight on paper. Beats up on Roosevelt Roberts, I believe on short notice. It was supposed to be Narulo Aliev, and then runs into CDF. He's supposed to beat CDF. He's like a minus 600 favorite to beat CDF. He loses because he, doesn't quit, but he gets too tired at the end of the fight. Beats Orbalai, and then loses to Duncan. He doesn't get better as the fight goes on. Klein does. And on top of that, too, I'm looking at Mateusz Rebecki, who just ate so much damage. Again, the brain needs... I'm no doctor, but the brain needs time to heal. The brain needs time after, getting knocked out. So I don't love this. I don't love this at all for Mateusz Rebecki, and that's why I'm going to go with Mr. Highlight in Ludovit Klein to go out here and get it done. Now, I do need to say this right now. This is not an official best bet, but if there was a sixth best bet, it would be, I don't even have a graphic for it. Let's bring this up real quick. If I had, because I feel like I need to mention it, because I did not put a spot in this video for it, but I will talk about it very quickly for a couple minutes. I guess I'll just show Tapology on this. Yeah, we'll show Tapology. I do feel like it is important to say that the next best bet was going to be Valter Walker and Louis Sutherland under on rounds, okay? Under 1.5 rounds is like plus 115. I did not make it one of the best bets, but that's so playable. I just don't know what that fight's going to be on short notice because Walker and Sutherland were both supposed to take on different guys very recently, and I don't know if we're able to get that under. But again, I would still bet it. Under 1.5 rounds, that plus 115, I absolutely love that. Again, though, it's not one of my 5 favorite, though, because of the potential of, Walker was just supposed to fight Usman, Sutherland was supposed to fight Tafa. How do they adjust? And maybe the under doesn't hit there. So I just want to point that out. Like, I like the line. I'm not going to include it in the video. So I just need to make that very clear. Anyways, let's move on to our third best bet. Because I know, again, if you've been watching my channel, I've been very big on Valter Walker unders. I'm just not including it today because of that reason, okay? I think it's very playable, though, if you want to go to it. Instead, this might be my favorite bet of the week. I think it is. It definitely is. Azamat Murzakanov beating Alexander Rakić. I was very adamant about this. Well, I was very adamant on this upon the releasing of this fight being made. There we go. Salvage that. I think Murzakanov mops the floor with Rakić. Do I think Rakić is just bad? No. He hasn't won a fight since 2021. 2020, he hasn't won a fight since. I think it was early 2021. It's been over 4 years since he's won a fight. I mean, what they should have done with Rakić is they should have given him a lower level guy. That's what they should have done. They should have given him I don't even know who they could have given him. Like, they should have given him someone in, who's barely in the top 15. Because you need to get him a win eventually. You can't just keep giving him killers, but that's what they've done, right? Dude's off 2 years. You say, okay, go fight Proashka. Gets knocked out. And then they say, after a Proashka loss, go fight the number 1 contender, Magomed Ankalaev. Loss. What they should have done is they should have given him a Jimmy Crute, a Nikita Krylov. Hell, even a Johnny Walker. Like, yeah, he could lose to Walker, but it's a fight I'd still expect Rakić to probably win. Or even the Blachowicz rematch that has been talked about and was talked about to be on the first Duplessis Strickland card in Canada last year. That's still last year. Wow. It's like 18 months ago, but still, right? Those are fights I would have liked to see in Rakić in, not Murzakanov, who's undefeated 15-0 and is just going through guys right now. And Joe Rogan said it. This guy is the best unknown or best fighter outside of the top 5 in the UFC. I don't know if that's entirely the truth, but Rogan doesn't just give that praise to everybody. Well, sometimes he does. Some of Rogan's glazing moments are crazy. This is the same guy at one point in time that did say Ronda Rousey could beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing fight, but that's neither here or there. That was a long time ago. Everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid back then. I wasn't. I just want to make that very clear. I wasn't Joe Rogan's age, but I could figure that out, that Ronda wasn't going to beat Floyd, but it's okay. Regardless, Murzakinov's good. Okay, he's very good. And sure, has he fought someone at the level of Rakić yet? No, but Rakić hasn't won a fight. Rakić doesn't win. 3 straight losses. Yes, are they all very good guys? Sure, but Murzakinov's good too. Azamat's run recently, Jacoby win. By the way, Murzakanov has a knockdown in every single fight so far in his UFC run, including the Contender Series where he fought PFL semifinalist Mateusz Scheffel. But then beat Tafon Chukwi by knockout in the 3rd round, knocked him down, knocked down Devin Clark en route to a knockout, knocked down Justin Jacoby, won the fight by decision, knocked down and knocked out Alonzo Menafield, and knocked down and knocked out Brenson Ribeiro over in New Jersey in June of this year. Knockout machine. He can wrestle too if he needs, but I don't think we're going to see that here. I'm taking the professional here, man. I'm taking the professional. I think he knocks out Alexander Rakić. I don't think we see this one hit the mat. I think, again, if someone's going to shoot, I believe it's going to be Rakić. The amount of losses he's had. He shot on Blakovic. I like Murzakanov defensive wrestling. I don't think Azamat shoots. I think he has a lot of faith in his hands. And is Rakić going to be much bigger than Murzakanov? 100%. Rakić is 6'4", Murzakanov's 5'10". Okay, I think Murzakanov gets on the inside and starts hammering this dude personally. I mean, I think it's one-sided once Murzakanov finds his shot. I think, yeah, Rakić has got a 7.5 inch reach advantage on him. I don't really care. Rakić, again, he doesn't fight like he's not going to fight like he has that big reach advantage. I think Murzakanov's going to be completely fine. I think Murzakanov wins. Minus 120. I'm going to go Azamat here. Again, Rakić has not won a fight since he beat Thiago Santos back in 2021 at UFC 259. For reference, Thiago Santos has won a fight more recently, I believe. Yeah, he has, than Rakić. Santos' next fight, he actually beat Johnny Walker. So I'm going to go Azamat Murzakanov to win this fight. Pretty automatic in my opinion. Yes, Rakić has a size advantage, but I'm still going with the slight favorite in Azamat Murzakanov to remain undefeated and go to 16-0 with a victory over Alexander Rakić. On to our next fight. Jailton Almeida by submission or decision to beat Alexander Volkov. Okay, he's not going to win by knockout. I highly doubt he TKOs Volkov. Obviously, he's not going to knock him out. I highly doubt he TKOs him on the ground. I know he's TKO'd Spivak. Volkov will turn to his back before he gets straight ground and pounded, in my opinion. Okay? So, like hell, Tom Aspinall subbed him. It was an arm lock, I get it, but it's a very winnable fight for Jailton Almeida. Now, Jailton Almeida's name might not be in the news right now because of his fight, instead of how Daniel Cormier has talked about Jailton Almeida. I feel like it's very important to talk about this. I don't know if DC was trying to put this on the internet. He was trying to make it known that he was saying this, but I guess it's a hot mic. Someone left the cameras on. I believe it was UFC Europe who had the cameras still on, and well, I think DC had to have known his mic was still on, but he goes up to Aspinall after an interview and says, I mean, you have a chance to do something really special right now. You can make a lot of money in this sport with this run that you have. I mean, and DC says, look at the heavyweight division. I mean, he says, Jailton's fighting Volkov, and Jailton can't fight. UFC commentator Daniel Cormier says that the number 2 ranked contender in the heavyweight division can't fight. I think Almeida's a lot better than people give him credit for. If DC means he can't fight, means he can't strike, he's fair about that. Jailton's not a very good striker. He has grappling and wrestling like no one else in this weight class, other than maybe Tom. And I get it. Like, if Tom fought Jailton, I personally believe it is Tom's most difficult fight. I'm still taking him to win, though. But I think that's the one guy in this weight class I see, okay, maybe can beat Aspinall. It would be Jailton Almeida. That is the only guy I can say that about. And later, Tom goes on to say, like, I think it's Tom asks DC, like, oh, do you think he's going to be Volkov? And DC like says, nah. And, you know, but then DC goes on to say, well, Tom, you've already beat Volkov, and you made it look easy in the first round. It's true. This is a number 1 contenders fight. There's no other way you can slice it. The winner of this fight, if it's Volkov, they have to give Volkov the next title shot, right? I mean, you can't give the winner of, I don't know, Derek Lewis. You can't give Derek Lewis a title fight right now. You need Derek Lewis to win one more fight. Rematch against Curtis Blades, maybe? Maybe? That's a very winnable fight for the Black Beast right now. And then you could theoretically say, okay, Lewis, Aspinall, Whitehouse. But yeah, it is a run that, you know, Aspinall is on a big run right now, and he can continue to be on that big run. But this isn't about Tom right now. It's about Jailton Almeida. I think Almeida is getting very overlooked here. UFC commentator Daniel Cormier says he can't fight. Really? He's going to have to interview him after the fight. I mean, the DC would have beaten Jailton Almeida in his prime. Don't get me wrong. I know Jailton's a monster of a man. DC would just stuff his takedowns and outstrike him. But against anybody else, like, guys, Almeida should beat Volkov. Yes, Volkov's huge. Yes, Volkov has good wrestling defense. I watched Jailton Almeida take Curtis Blades down 12 times. Did he lose? Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. But I saw him take down Blades 12 times. The thing that very good BJJ players struggle with is that they can't wrestle. Mackenzie Dern's the best example of that. I think she wins because she's going to outstrike Jandiroba, but Almeida's got that figured out. He has excellent wrestling. He is a very strong dude. Guys, Volkov's going to have about 5 inches, 6 inches of height on him. The thing that came out this week on Volkov, I forget who said it, but Volkov's really 6'9", not 6'7". I don't know who, someone said that. Some fighter said that, I think. But Volkov wrote himself down to 6'7", not to look weird at 6'9". I don't know if that was fake news or not. Regardless, though, Volkov's going to have a lot of height on Almeida, 5 or 6 inches. That's fine. Almeida's got the same reach. He's a monster of a human being, and he's very physically strong. So how does he win this fight? Well, either he subs Volkov, or he just does to Volkov what he did to Derek Lewis. He just takes him down and holds him down. If that happens, fine. Either way, Jailton should win the fight. I don't think Volkov knocks him out because I think Almeida's not going to give Volkov the chance to knock him out because Almeida's going to be taking him down the entire fight. I personally believe Jailton's going to submit him. I don't think it goes to the scorecards, okay? I think Jailton's going to submit him in the first round. But if it does go deeper in the fight, I think Almeida can resort to his wrestling. I think he can survive enough on the feet. Yes, is Drago a very good boxer, and he has sneaky good, it's not sneaky good anymore. I mean, we know how good Drago's hands are. I get that. Jailton should be able to dive on legs and should be able to get this takedown pretty easily. And I think this fight's going to look kind of like the Jairzinho Rosenstrike fight or the Romanov fight. I think it's going to be pretty quick. Almeida's going to get that takedown. We need to talk about, too, like Volkov, guys. Volkov thought he'd be gone. He did. But Volkov thought he was going to get a title shot. He thought he was going to be able to finally reach that mountaintop in his career. And now you got to fight this monster before you get a chance to fight for the world title. You're coming off such a high, and now you got to get motivated to fight this dude in order to get your title shot. After you just got robbed on pay-per-view against Ciryl Gane. I mean, I got to go Almeida here, guys. I got to go Maldonado. I think that's how you say the nickname. Jailton Almeida. I've been high on this dude for a very long time. I think we're finally time to pay this thing off. Jailton Almeida, first round submission, title shot next in Brazil. Okay? He still won't beat Tom. But, yeah, I think Almeida is very good on the ground. Again, he has figured out that part of the equation that a lot of BJJs haven't, and that's wrestling. That's why I think so highly of Jailton Almeida. Give me him to win by sub or decision, -120. Final best bet of the video, we move to the under in the World Championship fight. Under 1.5 rounds, Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Yes, I decided to pick this over the Walter Walker, Louis Sutherland under. Here's why. Tom Aspinall should knock out Ciryl Gane in the first round. He should. Either with a punch or by takedown, ground and pound. The way Tom Aspinall has been talking about this fight, and I don't think this is just overconfidence, I believe it's legitimately how Aspinall sees it. He thinks there are openings to put away Gane on the feet. The way I've seen Aspinall talk about this fight over fight week and the pre-fight press conferences, it sounds like he thinks he can put this dude away very quickly. And that's just how it appears to me. It really does. Tom saying that, oh yeah, and this is gonna be a boring split decision. It's gonna be a boring split decision. Oh my gosh, Tank's not very good. He's playing into what Gane thinks, that he's going to beat him by decision and just break him down because his gas tank's bad. Again, the way Aspinall's talking about this, it really sounds like he thinks the opening's there to the knockout. I could be wrong on that, but that's really how I feel about it. And at the beginning of the week, I said, okay, well, Aspinall takedown and ground and pound. I think Aspinall's going to try to beat Gane in a way nobody else has, in a way that John Jones didn't, obviously, in a way that, for instance, Ngannou didn't do it. I think he's going to try to knock Gane out. And obviously, again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes sometimes, I understand that. But the point I made earlier in the week was, okay, Gane doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. He's a massive dude, and he's, again, one of the best athletes to ever fight in the UFC's heavyweight division. Yes, you've got great athletes like Brock Lesnar, right, who's fought in the past too, but look at Ciryl Gane. I mean, the dude can dunk a basketball. He is a very athletic human being. And he's just gotten bigger, it seems, as we've seen so far in Fight Week. I mean, the dude is yoked. Whatever. He's jacked, right? He looks even better now at 35 years of age. That's another thing, though. He's 35. Gane's only getting older. And yeah, again, his striking is very good. Doesn't have the one-punch knockout power to put you away. And don't forget, Volkov outstruck him. What's Tom Aspinall gonna do? He moves like a middleweight. The head movement on Aspinall is crazy. Watch the way he fights Sergey Pavlovich. He doesn't get hit by anything. How's Gane going to put him away? This pick, yes, is solely based on Tom Aspinall winning. Do not get me wrong, okay? If Gane somehow wins, I don't believe it's in the first round and a half. Maybe he head kicks him, and that's the only thing I can think of. He's not gonna, Gane's submission of choice is the heel hook. Don't think he does that against Tom. If Gane wins, it's likely by decision. I highly doubt he wins. And look at every fight Tom has. It goes under 1.5 rounds. Blade's finish was in 60 seconds. Pavlovich finish was 1 minute and 9 seconds. The Tybura fight was in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Guys, Aspinall, since his comeback after the knee injury to Curtis Blades, has only fought for less than 3.5 minutes. And that's since 2022, Tom Aspinall's been in the cage for 3.5 minutes. He's fought 3 fights. And it's not his fault that he's been inactive. That's a John Jones problem. That's a UFC problem. For as much as they, held Aspinall, waiting for that potential Jones fight with the interim belt. It's done. He's the world champion now. Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And again, his fights don't last long. I don't think there's not a single Tom Aspinall fight so far in the UFC where this total rounds have gone over. Every fight. Jake Collier fight was a 45-second knockout. The Alan Doe win was in 1 minute 35 seconds. Andrei Arlovsky fight was a second round submission, 1 minute though into the round. Sergey Spivak win was a first round knockout. Volkov win was a 4-minute submission. The Blades fight that he lost was the knee injury, first leg kick he threw. That was 15 seconds into the fight. Tybura fight, minute 13. Pavlovich fight, minute 9 seconds. Blades rematch for the interim title, 60 seconds. Exactly. Aspinall fights are quick. And that's what this fight's going to be too. Either, again, Aspinall knows he has the opening and he can knock out Ciryl Gane, or he's just going to take him down and TKO him or submit him down there. Either way, it is all set up for a Tom Aspinall victory. Yes, he can go on that generational run Daniel Cormier is talking about. And yes, he will probably be eventually the greatest heavyweight of all time. Love Stipe, but the run Aspinall can potentially go on right now is, just look at it. Who does he lose to? Almeida's the toughest guy, but as long as Aspinall just keeps stuffing takedowns, Almeida's getting knocked down in the first. Nobody right now in the heavyweight division you can convince me beats Tom Aspinall. That includes a potential heavyweight Alex Pereira. Aspinall will be champion. The guy who beats Aspinall eventually, if he ever does lose, is not in the UFC yet. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Shamil Gaziev. Maybe, probably not. Maybe Gaziev gets him. But other than that, I don't think anybody can beat Tom Aspinall. Give me Aspinall to retain the belt in under a round and a half. This is free to me. He has not had a fight over this mark so far. Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane go under 1.5 rounds here in the main event for the heavyweight championship. Folks, thank y'all for watching our 5 best bets for UFC 321. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with the picks. We'll be back again on Sunday for our Fight Night Garcia versus Onama full card prediction, so make sure to join us for that. Go check out Greedo Plays, the main channel as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.